Hello, and welcome to the Homeschooling and Loving It podcast. I'm your host, Jamie, your friend at homeschool.com and homeschool mom of 6. Join us as we keep it real and chat about the ups and downs of this amazing adventure we call the homeschool life. So grab a cup of your warm favorite and a comfy chair and let's get started. I'm excited today that I'll be sharing something from my heart on motivation. Yeah, I know it's not such an easy podcast, and actually something that I've struggled with a lot over the past few months. So this little chat was born out of my search for some help for my own life. So, all right, go and grab yourself a cup of something yummy and a nice comfy chair, and let's get started. Motivation is a tricky thing. Sometimes it's our best friend and it's right there with us, keeping us going, full steam ahead. And at other times, it's so elusive, we wonder if we've ever even known what motivation is. The lack of motivation in my life often results in procrastination. And all the ugly that goes along with that. But the presence of motivation, when that friend is around, we get lots of stuff done. But what exactly is motivation, or the attitude behind it? Experts have said it's the will to do something and all the thoughts and intent and psychology that brings you to act on that something. Yet, to actually get us going, that will, our will, has to cross what the experts call a pain point. And that's when the pain of doing that something is less than the pain of not doing that something. And it's at that point that we're motivated. In reality, motivation is a choice, a decision regarding the pain of doing that something we mentioned, or the pain of remaining the same. And we will stay in that no man's land of indecision until a choice is made regarding which is greater. So, my thoughts immediately went to my past experiences. I don't know about you, but I asked myself, what have I done before to get myself out of that place of procrastination? Well, of course, I've tried reading books or listening to inspirational podcasts or helpful YouTube videos, which, all reinforced my knowledge that I needed to do that something. But in the end, motivation always remains an action that I must take upon myself. It has to be action on my part. Well, I love this quote: motivation is the result of action, not the cause of it. So sometimes I think, at least I know I do, I get those switched around in my mind. Getting started and putting that one foot forward, taking action, actually produces motivation and, of course, momentum for carrying on. And we all know once we get started, it's so much easier to keep going. Well, how do we get to that place? In the homeschool mom world, we talk a lot about being intentional. Why would this be any different? In so many areas of life, we're required to be intentional. We're mamas. We need to be intentional about spending time with our children. We're homeschoolers. We have to be intentional about setting goals, or of course, we'll never reach those goals. We're wives. We have to be intentional about spending time with our husbands and working on our marriage. There are so many areas that we have to be intentional about. So, just like target practice, if we have no bullseye to aim at, of course, we're never going to hit the target. So, create yourself a bullseye by setting schedules or making an appointment. Whatever it takes to require you to automate that getting started on the thing that you lack motivation about, sometimes will be the key to just getting you going, getting that one foot in front of the other. The other thing that I've found is getting consistent. I'm pretty sure that everyone in the mom club has said it, or at least knows that consistency is key. Truthfully, that doesn't just apply to child rearing, parenting. It should apply to our personal lives in so many areas. It's important to establish consistency in the behind the scenes aspects of our lives. And of course, in this area of motivation, consistency is very important. So once we've taken the step to be intentional, we schedule a time or kind of wall ourselves into having to do the thing. We can take the next step, follow through, and don't stop. Keep on following through until our efforts become a habit. And once we do that, once we remove the necessity for a decision, for our own self to make a decision about that thing that needs done, then it removes the battle, the struggle with motivation. Well, at least it should. It has somewhat for me when I've tried these. So we've made it simpler for us to get around to doing the task and then to actually keep on doing it once we've started. So the goal is to make it easy to start and easy to keep going. Remove all known obstacles and be intentional, I can't say that word today, intentional about setting yourself up for success. So, getting motivated. Well, as we put these fundamental things into practice, we'll still have battles because it's just life. And it's, our flesh is lazy. We're prone to procrastination, but don't be discouraged. Here are a few more ways to help inspire your motivation and even the motivation for your children's lives. So, first of all, make tasks appropriately challenging. If it's too easy, we're going to get bored. And if it's too difficult, we'll get discouraged because of the difficulty. So set it right. Set the task to an appropriate level and find your zone. My husband is a runner, and as he begins his run, he calms his mind and his breathing, and he gets quiet. In fact, he gets annoyed with me if I ride my bicycle with him and I want to chat. He wants to get in that zone, and quietness and calmness and finding his rhythm is what gets him there. So once he finds that zone, he experiences a boost in happiness and a feeling of achievement. So I have found this as well. I love to paint, draw, practice art, and I find if I do a few certain things like go to a quiet place, put on quiet, relaxing music, I find a zone there as I'm painting or sketching. And it's a place where, yes, I feel achievement. I feel that motivation to keep going. So there may be some necessary steps that work for you to help inspire that motivation and to help you think clearly and get the job done. Remind yourself that what you're doing is good. And once you complete that task, you'll feel really great about doing it. So, that's a built-in reward. Every task has an endpoint, and this is pretty important. Sometimes the task is just way too big, and that's what causes us to procrastinate or lose our motivation to get it done. So, one example is homeschooling. And if we look at, oh my word, I've got to homeschool this entire year, that can really put a damper on our spirits when we try to think of all the things that involves. But break it up. Break it up into semesters. Break it up into months. Break it up into weeks. And if you have to, break it down into days or even hours and get yourself through those smaller increments of time. Divide your tasks up that way. I can make it through a day. I can make it. Or I can make it till lunchtime, and organize your day according to those little segments of time. And once you've finished it, you have met your goal. That will definitely help your focus and make you feel like you're accomplishing more things instead of just one huge task. And finally, one thing that I've found works really great for me and for my kids is to build in a reward. So if there is something that I need to accomplish and I actually have been able to inspire motivation in myself or my children, build in a reward for completing that task, for accomplishing that thing. And it doesn't have to be a monetary reward or something frivolous. It can be something that just brings you joy. Maybe you all go to the park and feed the ducks, or something that kids enjoy that you enjoy. Maybe you just get a quiet bubble bath. It doesn't have to be anything crazy or expensive, but just build in a reward, and it helps you find that motivation. Okay, I'm going to get this done because when I finish, I'm going to be able to enjoy this thing, this cup of coffee, this piece of chocolate, this bath, this maybe a quiet walk in Target. You know how that ministers to our homeschool mom souls. So whatever works for you, build in a reward. But in the end, we all know it's tough. Life is tough, and there will be battles. And we do know that those things that are most worth doing are not going to be done easy. They will be a struggle, they will be a battle, but it's worth it in the long run. I know in my own life, I'm my own worst enemy, and I'm tempted to often listen to the lies in my head, the accusations in my head that, I don't need to do that, I don't have to do that, or, if I do it, I'm just going to be tired, or, whatever it is. My mind can justify anything. All my good intentions, including my motivation, can fly out the window if I begin to listen to the lies in my head. So if you're struggling today with motivation, dear friend, just take that first step. Take that first step. Getting started is half the battle. Well, it was great chatting with you today. I hope you'll join us for our next podcast on another challenging topic, how to make homeschool math fun. Yeah. Well, until then, if you need anything, you can find me at homeschool.com or on Facebook and Instagram at homeschoolcom without the dot. Wishing you a homeschool journey filled with grace and joy, your friend, Jamie.